If you're maintaining your own guitars, then this video is for you because we're going to be talking about an easier way to polish your frets and make sure they just feel silky smooth under your fingers. I've been working on my own guitars for as long as I could remember, and nothing seems to be as satisfying to me than to be able to get a beautifully polished and leveled series of frets on my guitar. It just makes things a lot more pleasant. Nothing feels as good as a perfectly smooth fret when you're bending that note. And if you work on your own guitars, you know that it is a time-consuming process. But there are a couple of tricks that I can share with you to make things a little easier. And today's video is basically exactly about that. We're going to be looking at a series of little tools and some essential elements that you need to be able to do a great fret job on your guitar. If you haven't already tried to do this yourself, it's not that complicated once you know the process. If you're interested in seeing the entire process of how to do a fret level and fret polish, I do have a video in my archive that goes through all of that in detail. Now, before we jump to my messy workbench, I just want to point out that today's video is sponsored by Frtlzr, so I highly recommend you guys go check out their website and see all of their products. They go beyond just fret polishing, so there's a lot of interesting things there. Now, the company is located in Germany, so if you're located overseas, then it would be more convenient and more worthwhile for you to check out their products. If you're located in Canada or the United States, it could be a little bit more expensive, but perhaps it's still worth the cost because their products are really top of the line. So we're going to jump into it right now, and I'm going to be showing you what's included in this kit and let you know basically my thoughts on how well everything works. So when you're getting ready to do a fret polish, you have to have all of the essential tools and all of the essential materials that you will need to be able to do a good job. If you're doing this for the first time, don't skimp on the sandpapers. Now, the beauty of this kit is that, first of all, they provide a nice selection of sandpapers, everything from 400 grit, regular sandpaper. We'll talk about how we would use the 400 grit because 400 is a little aggressive, but it's meant for a specific purpose. I'll explain that to you in a second. But they also have a really nice selection of micro mesh sandpapers, everything from 800, 1,500 here. We jump to 2,400, 3,000, 4,000, 7,000, all the way up to 8,000. So what you would want to do when you're doing any kind of polishing is start at the lowest you can go. Probably start off the polishing process at 800 and then work my way up every single one of these sandpapers all the way to the highest grit that I can get. In this case would be 8,000 grit micro mesh. Now, if you're using these sandpapers for polishing purposes, this sponge is basically a foam sponge, very nice and dense, comes in very handy because you can definitely just do it with the sandpaper, but it makes it a whole lot easier just to use this tool. And this has a nice solid flex to it, so it won't break easy and it will conform to your frets. So you just have to wrap your micro meshes around this and go ahead and polish all of your frets like so. Okay, so this is a great starting point for your polishing. But let's just back up a second here. Let's say we've identified that the fretboard only has one fret that needs to be addressed because only maybe one fret is high. So do we need to do a complete fret level in that particular case? I would say no. Why remove additional material off all of your other frets when only one fret has to be addressed? So the good folks over at Frtlzr have given us some tools that will allow us to deal with it. This particular tool that they supply, which looks an awful lot like a fret rocker, and if you've done any work on your frets, you probably already know what that is. Now, the beauty of this particular tool is that it goes a little bit beyond the basics It's not really designed to identify high frets. It's designed to be able to sand one fret only. So as you can see here, every side has a little notch. Maybe you can see that, maybe you have a hard time seeing it, but there's a notch on every side of this tool. And that notch is meant to accommodate a little small sliver of sandpaper. So you would basically cut yourself a small piece of sandpaper like so, wrap it around this tool, and then use that tool to sand down only the one high fret. So for example, if this fret was high, we would just put the tool down on the fret, and then the two end frets here would work as our guide. So we wouldn't be able to knock down the high fret past the heights of these two, because the tool basically would rest on the high frets, and we would just go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, till we feel like the fret in the middle, you know, is being polished down, so we feel a lot less resistance when we go back and forth, and we can tell that the fret is now level with the two outside frets. So it's a great way to save yourself some extra work and to be able to confidently knock down your high fret without necessarily worrying about going too far. Now, the other tool that they supply is this tool. And this is more of a tool designed to help you with the actual fret polishing. So if you want to polish one fret here in particular, this tool is designed in such a way as to give you a little groove. So when you wrap the sandpaper around it and tie it down with this elastic band, it creates a little groove at the top here, as you can see, that basically will conform to your fret. So by putting this on your fret and going back and forth on your fretboard, it'll allow you to polish that one individual fret. And it works the same way as a crowning file works, except you can use it with sandpaper. So it's a really nice thing to have in your arsenal. Now, of course, if you're doing that, they also supply this tool, which is a little fretboard protector. So I was showing you there without the fretboard protector, but I would normally use this all the time if I'm working on an individual fret, because you don't want to accidentally sand your fretboard. So by using this tool together with the fretboard protector, you basically can do a clean job on one fret and give it all the love and attention that you need to give it. You can get everything you need here to work on your fretboard in one location. I don't know where else you'd be able to find these. So it really is a question of what you need for your particular method of working on your fretboard. I'm going to be using all of these tools to do a refresh on this fretboard because it needs it. As you can tell, the frets on this are very dull and have been requiring some love and attention for a little while now. So I'm gonna get cracking and do that right now. If you wanna know where to get these tools and all these great sandpapers, I will leave all of that information for you in the description of this video. Now, if you're looking for an easy way to jump into fret polishing for yourself, this kit is an excellent way to get started and an easy way to get everything that you need at one location and just jump right into it. Now, I have used this kit myself to do a complete fret polish on one of my guitars. And I do want to provide some feedback for you guys, as well as for the company to be able to make their product even better. One of the tools that I felt could be improved is the fret shaper, because as you notice, there are little grooves on each side of this tool, and all of the grooves happen to be different widths. So if you're cutting strips of sandpaper to fit into these grooves, then they're not consistent. You have to match the width of the sandpaper to the width of the groove, and it's a little bit more finicky if they're all different sizes. So if the company could possibly fix this in future iterations and make all of those grooves the same size, then you can easily cut all the strips of paper that you need to go into those grooves in one go, and it makes things a lot quicker. Also, the company might consider offering the strips of sandpaper pre-cut for the grooves so that you can just take the paper, put it on the tool, and off you go. The micro mesh sandpapers are really high quality and they do an excellent job. I love the fact that they don't skip any of the different grits. So you have everything that you need from 800 all the way to 8,000, which if you don't skip any steps will give you a beautiful finish. Now, as far as the fret polishing tool goes, I do think it does alleviate a lot of wear and tear on your fingers. Some people just like to do it with their bare fingers and sandpaper. I understand that, but you know, your finger is not necessarily grooved the same way as your fret is, and having the fret shaping tool with that groove to hold the sandpaper in place and, you know, basically touch the entire surface of the fret, I think is a better way of doing it. Now, everybody has their own methods when it comes to doing this. There's no real rule book. You know, if it works for you, then it's great. But, you know, I do think there are easier ways, and these tools definitely help. Now, the foam pad that comes with this kit may seem a little frivolous to you, but it's great. It is so nice and dense that it really does a great job just wrapping those micro mesh sandpapers across this thing and just rubbing it up and down the fretboard makes short work out of just polishing your fretboard, especially if you don't have a dedicated polisher. So overall, I'm really happy with the quality of this kit. As I mentioned at the beginning, they are made in Germany. The company is located in Germany. So that is one of the issues that you might want to consider. If you're placing an order and you're located in Canada or the US, there might be additional costs in terms of shipping, handling, or duties involved. But if you're overseas, anywhere in Europe, then you definitely want to check out this kit for yourself. Once again, I want to remind you to go check out the Frtlzr website and check out their complete line of products. They go well beyond just fret polishing. And a big thank you goes out to the people at Frtlzr for allowing me to check out this great product. I do think you're doing awesome work. Keep up the great job. Now, for all of you out there that are addicted to gear, please stay tuned to this channel because there will be other great product reviews, gear reviews, and a lot more to keep you interested. So please stay tuned and come on back.